This content is not suitable for persons under 13 years of age. Ugh, warm! Hello and welcome back again, Bots and Bits fans, another episode of, now just give me a sec, I haven't done this in a while, just warm up a little bit. So today we're taking a really good look at the Deformed Automan oversized knockoffs of the Magic Square Menasor set. Now, before we get right into the details, as usual, I bought this guy from ShowZstore.com. They shipped this out to me super fast. I reckon it was about 9 days to Australia. The price was pretty good. Last time I checked, they had plenty in stock. So if you're interested in picking this up, I highly recommend you head over there and take a look. Now, these guys went off to a good start. The BW-001 set has already been out for a little while. It's been reviewed to death. I'm sure you guys have already looked into it, but I will just say mine turned out really good. I do have like floppiness in the hips of whoever this one is. Everything else was well done. Paint, colours, all that sort of stuff. And this guy was pretty much perfect. So, great start out of the gate, right? But it didn't go so well for these guys.
Insignificant human, subscribe to this channel immediately.
Now, where they've dropped the ball is with BW-002, these guys. Let's leave that one to last. So, with this fella, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. Let's just focus. The head sculpt has been reproduced really well. The paint is very, very neat. That reflective purple looks really good in my opinion. Although I probably would have preferred a regular purple there and a reflective visor, but that's just nitpicking really. Some nice silver here. This paint here is done very nicely. And then the same for the vehicle details, all done very nicely. Same story with these other guys. The plastic is very, very tidy. I've just got a couple of sprue marks up the top here, and that's pretty much all I've found. Joint-wise, he's really good. It's all very nice and stiff. We've got some really, really nice bends and swivels and all those sorts of lovely things that we all enjoy. I've got like a lot of wobble and play in this wheel here, sitting on this bolt, but the Magic Square original had the same thing. So they're not going to lose points for that, although they could have fixed it. The problem I'm having with this guy, though, is in the combined mode elbow joint. This thing. Super loose. Like, if you were buying this and you wanted to combine him up with the car all-in-one and use that elbow in as Menasor, nah, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. But if you're doing the separated torso, how did I separate this? I can't remember how to do it. There, like that. So if you're going to separate them and use the combined mode arm, like the skeletal arm, you're not going to have a problem. But that elbow joint, useless. Okay, now onto the complete failure. This guy, and I say complete failure, I mean like structurally, the face is reproduced really well, and the paint on it is the paint on drag strip was done better. This one, I mean they're faithful colours, but I can see the black coming through in the mouthpiece. I got a little bit missing next to the nose, which sort of stands out a bit, and there's a little bit of brown on the purple visor, which it is little, and it is a knockoff, so I don't expect it to be perfect, but when it comes to the face, like, you notice it straight away. Other details are great, though. These greys and gunmetals are all very tidy. The car details are very, very tidy. Same deal with the plastic. There's no swirling, there's no scratching. Very few I don't even think there are any sprue marks on this one. Very, very well done. Where it falls apart, though, is in the joints. Unfortunately, these arms, yeah. Look at it bounce, like, useless. That one's a little bit tighter, but not really. The hips are really loose, and the elbow joint is even looser. This whole thing is just wet spaghetti. Listen to it. Yeah, terrible. Don't find him particularly stable, and his joints are just, yeah, real shame. Real shame. Probably not going to be a big deal once I get him all combined up. If you were just going to separate him and use the skeletal arm in combined mode, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem, but as it stands, nah, not great. Not great. We do have a couple of accessories that come with him. Let's just get rid of the BW-001 So we have these guns. They're nothing special at all. They're both black, and they could be anyone's guns, really. And I'm not even sure whose is whose, but they hold them no... Oops. They hold them no worries, if that's your sort of thing. I'm not really a fan... Oh, even that elbow isn't great. I'm not really a fan of giving my Transformers guns. I don't know why. I don't like them having guns. But, yeah, there you go. They hold them. Now, I did get these as well. A couple of just... red panels. I have no idea what they're for. If you know what they're for, let me know. Obviously, there's something to do with this guy. There's lots of tabs where they could fit. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. If you know where they're meant to go, comment below so I can figure out what to do with them. But for now, they'll just stay in the box. So let's make some room and clear some of the stuff out. Get rid of them. Make a little bit of room, and I'll bring the magic square in. We'll do a little bit of a comparison. Alright, whoops, little bit off center. Right, so the size difference isn't huge. Magic Square come in at about 9.5 centimeters, and then the Deformed Automan come in at just under 11 centimeters. So it's Legends Plus, so this will go with your Mech Fans toys, Hot Soldiers, those sorts of things. Probably not going to scale very well with other Magic Square or, say, New Age. Now, I don't really own any other Legends anymore to compare them with, but here's Hasbro Sharkticon, the Hot Soldiers Mini Omega Supreme, and a can of Tab. Hope that answers some questions. Or raises more. So when it comes to differences between the set, there aren't many. The colour palette, obviously, so it's pretty obvious with drag strip. So the KO is a darker, more deeper yellow. It even has like a slightly orange tinge to it to the naked eye, whereas the Magic Square original is very sort of like a softer yellow. And also, when it comes to the plastic, the Magic Square has like a matte feel to it, whereas the KO is just, it's really glossy and almost waxy, really. It's got like a little bit of a waxy feel to it. But face sculpts and details are reproduced pretty well, especially considering that the Magic Square face is just so small, so tiny. They were able to pull the details out of that really well. Now, when it comes to this guy, Magic Square didn't do a great job with him either. This one is a little bit loose. The feet are super loose. None of this here really holds together particularly. It's the spoilers. Fantastic. At least the elbow joint is nice and stiff on this guy. But could be worse. Details wise, they come up pretty much the same, although even though Magic Square is smaller, the paint job is significantly better on the face. But with the rest of it, it's all pretty much the same. Probably already seen comparisons of these guys, but they have, again, done a fantastic job at pulling the details out from such a tiny face. Face on the Magic Square is much brighter and more vibrant, and I prefer it, but that's just me. The KO is more of a white colour in the plastic, and again, it's the glossiness, I think. And then lastly, these fellas, it's just more of the same. Really, they've pulled some good details out, but I find that the paint on the Magic Square face is much better than the KO. Colours are roughly the same, although the Magic Square grey is much lighter. But apart from that, there isn't really much more to say about them. They're practically the same. Alright, that's pretty much it. I'll transform them up and we'll compare some car modes. Magic hand wave. So the first two vehicles are quite simple to transform. You can fumble your way through them. But for the new set, I will show the transformation. It's a little bit more involved. Now, Fast Pioneer, Deformation, Automan, whoever they are, they did make an announcement on their Weibo that this peg here has been made too big. So, like, you can force it in because the plastic is soft, but you probably want to just, you can probably see that I've like bent the plastic just a little bit on this corner here, trying to force it in. It does go in, but you can see that I've sort of messed the plastic up just a little bit. See there. But yeah, they did say that was a production error.
Uh-oh, seems like a system error.
Now, another thing to note is these pins here. see this little pin? You can see the groove? So that groove is too tight, and when I was pushing on it, the metal pin was actually bending. I eventually got it. I had to push on that much harder than I was comfortable doing. Now it will slide, but see, I can't even get that pin to go back into the groove now, and this is soft plastic, and I'm pulling on it quite hard, and it's not going back in. So, yeah, I forced it and it worked, but yeah, I'll be very careful. Maybe you can get something in there and just sort of lever it through rather than pushing and pulling on, because you're not just pushing and pulling on these two bits of plastic. You've also got the knee joint in here. There's a lot going on, and you could end up breaking it. Onto wobbles next. Now, it doesn't tell you in the instructions to do this, but you need to rotate the fists.
Like a system error.
So there they are, all done. Now that is very fiddly and a real pain in the ass. Especially because with this guy, when I was following the instructions, I could not rotate the hand. I did not know to rotate the hands, and so none of this, it's still not perfect. But none of this would go in properly at all. It was an absolute mess. And a prime example of what that looks like is on the Magic Square, because the wrist swivel on this Magic Square one is just so tight I couldn't rotate it, and it was starting to bend the plastic. And this isn't mine, this is on loan to me from my mate Ryan. Cheers, buddy. So I didn't want to do any damage to the plastic. But if you're transforming yours and it looks all f***ed up like this, it's because the hands aren't rotated. But yeah, so I couldn't do that on the Magic Square. And also with the Magic Square, I could not get the engine block in at all. And as you can see, from me pushing the engine block, I've started to just see it's just starting to scratch the paint up a little bit. That doesn't mean that the deformed Automan or whatever is better. The engine block on this one went in fine, but it's all wonky. Fast Pioneer, Deformed Automan, whoever they are, they did put out a Weibo post saying that there was a manufacturing error and this part here is done wrong. And so when they release Motormaster and all the other parts, they're going to send replacement ones. It does look good though. Everything else went together really, really well. The front wheels seem to roll pretty nicely. These ones are they're wobbly. They're just so wobbly. But I think the Magic Square was pretty much the same with the back wheels. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. And anyway, so now when it comes to this guy, I think he looks pretty good. I think his vehicle mode looks great. I've got a little bit of stuff happening over there. That's a little bit how you're going. Yeah, it looks good. You can really tell the color difference in this mode. The wheels are pretty much the same. It all seems to be holding together pretty well. So I'm glad something worked out for this one, because his bot mode is absolute trash. On mine, at least, anyway. And yeah, like I mentioned, I couldn't transform this one because I couldn't get the wrists rotated. I do have Motormaster and the Menasor skeleton all pre-ordered from ShowZstore. The price is pretty reasonable. Once it's released and I receive that, I'll do a complete comparison, because I also have the Magic Square here on loan. So just waiting now. Just waiting. Shout out to JZ457 as my first channel member for helping make this review possible. I really appreciate it, mate. It's a huge vote of confidence for me. Alright guys, is it worth it and should you buy it? I'm going to say yeah. As standalone vehicles and bots, the BW-002 are not great. But to be honest, most of you probably aren't buying these Legend Plus figures for the vehicle or bot modes. You're just doing it for the combined mode. And I think it's going to be fantastic. I think Menasor being much bigger will be a very good look and will probably scale with whichever line you buy anyway. So if you've got Magic Square or New Age, I don't think a giant Menasor is going to really look too out of place. That said, if you collect Magic Square, at this point I don't think it's worth swapping them out. I think you should keep what you've already bought, but we'll know more once Motormaster and the skeleton are released. And that's it. Now if you enjoyed this video and like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe to my channel. Remember to check out my Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. There's also the webpage www.botsandbits.net for all your bots and bitty news.